Hello, this is Dr. Praveen Ramachandra. I'm senior endocrinologist working in Diaplus Endocrinology Clinic in Lanka, Newton, Bangalore, India. Please watch this video.
It's kind of wild to think about. We're talking about something that affects literally half the population, right? Yet somehow it's still wrapped up in all this confusion and honestly, a lot of silence. Well, today in this explainer, we are going to completely demystify menopause. We're going to really zoom in on those notorious hot flashes and look at actual evidence-based solutions. To do this, we're relying on a fantastic, highly detailed guide. This patient education is by Dr. Praveen Ramachandra, Senior Endocrinologist, Diaplus Endocrinology Clinic, Yelahanka, Bangalore, India. His guide is just this incredibly empathetic, problem-solving journey. So by the end of our time today, we're going to have a really crystal clear picture of what's happening inside the body and exactly how you can take back control. Okay, let's just quickly look at our roadmap for today. We'll be covering 1. The menopause transition, 2. Demystifying hot flashes, 3. Lifestyle and self-care strategies, 4. Navigating medical treatments, and 5. Protecting postmenopausal health. All right, let's dive right into section 1, the menopause transition, the baseline biology. So first things first, let's clear up some major timeline confusion because there's a lot of it out there. Medically speaking, menopause is formally defined as the exact point when a woman has gone 12 consecutive months with absolutely no bleeding, not even a little spotting, nothing for a full year. Biologically, what's happening is your ovaries have basically stopped releasing eggs, and they're pumping out way less estrogen and progesterone. Now, the super important thing to remember here, this usually hits between the ages of 45 and 55, and it is a 100% natural, inevitable part of aging. It's not a disease, right? It's just a brand new stage of life. But, just because something is natural doesn't mean it's a walk in the park. As those hormones are doing this wild roller coaster drop, they bring along a whole host of, let's say, less than fun symptoms. We're talking hot flashes, night sweats, sleep problems where you're just staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. Then there's the mood changes, anxiety, that heavy brain fog, vaginal dryness, joint pains, and even weight gain, especially around the midsection. I just want to pause for a second here. If you're dealing with this physical and emotional toll, your experience is entirely valid. It's completely normal, it's just biology doing its thing, and it is absolutely not your fault. Moving on to section 2, demystifying hot flashes, why the heat happens. Get this, up to 70 to 80% of women experience hot flashes during the menopause transition. 70 to 80%. So if you're waking up drenched in sweat, or you suddenly feel like you've been, shoved into an oven in the middle of a grocery store, this massive number is proof that you are absolutely not alone. Literally millions of women are dealing with this exact same thing right now. But why? Why do hot flashes even happen in the first place? It's a great question. And the answer is actually hidden deep inside the incredible internal machinery of your brain. So it all comes down to this tiny little region in your brain called the hypothalamus. Think of it as your body's master thermostat. When your estrogen levels take a dive during menopause, that thermostat gets, a little glitchy. It becomes overly sensitive. It mistakenly reads a tiny normal shift in your body temp as this massive, catastrophic overheating emergency. So what does your brain do? It panics and slams the emergency cool down button. It instantly expands the blood vessels in your skin, which is why you flush bright red, and triggers intense sweating to cool you off. Your brain literally thinks you are overheating and is just frantically trying to save you. Let's look at section 3, lifestyle and self-care strategies, actionable empowerment. Okay, so how do we handle this? Dr. Ramachandra suggests a super practical first step, creating a hot flash diary. Just for a week or two, every single time a flash hits, jot down 4 quick things. 1, the time. 2, what you were doing right then. 3, what you recently ate or drank. And 4, your stress level on a scale. Why go to the trouble? Because triggers are incredibly personal. Tracking it like this helps you figure out if your specific trigger is, say, spicy food, or maybe a hot cup of coffee, a glass of wine, or just a stressful email at work. And obviously, once you nail down those triggers, you can actually start avoiding them. Ultimately, it's all about taking control of your environment and your daily habits. You're going to want to wear light, breathable cotton layers so you can easily just peel one off when a flash hits. Keep fans around, keep your room cool, sip on ice water throughout the day. Just standard good stuff. Eat a balanced diet and absolutely make time for regular exercise. Things like a brisk walk, a swim, or some strength training can really help balance the body out. And don't sleep on the power of slow, deep breathing or even cognitive behavioral therapy to manage stress, because stress is a huge trigger. These are completely accessible, everyday habits that can safely dial down how often and how hard these symptoms hit.
All right, Section 4 Navigating Medical Treatments, Safe Clinical Options. Now, if lifestyle tweaks aren't cutting it, medical treatment basically splits down two distinct paths. On one side, we have menopausal hormone therapy, or MHT. This physically replaces the missing hormones, and to be totally frank, it is the most effective treatment out there for severe hot flashes. Plus, it protects your bones. It's generally the ideal route for healthy women under 60 who are within 10 years of hitting menopause. But what if you're on the other side? If you can't take hormones, or maybe you just prefer not to, you have some fantastic non-hormonal prescription options. We're talking evidence-based stuff like certain low-dose antidepressants, a nerve medication called gabapentin, or even a newer drug called fezolinetant that specifically targets that glitchy brain thermostat we just talked about. The point is, you have real, scientifically proven choices.
I know a lot of people wonder about herbal or natural over-the-counter remedies. We want to be totally impartial and just look at the clinical data here. The 2023 guidelines from the North American Menopause Society are actually very clear on this. They state that supplements and herbal remedies, including soy extracts and most OTC products, are, quote, not recommended or there is insufficient evidence for treating hot flashes. And pretty much all international guidelines echo this warning, simply because the benefits shown in the studies are just way too inconsistent. And there's a really vital safety point we need to hit right here. Natural does not automatically mean safe. A lot of herbal products can actually interact badly with prescription meds you might already be taking, or they can even put stress on your liver. So the takeaway here is super simple, and it comes from a place of compassion. Please, never just start an over-the-counter supplement for menopause without running it by your endocrinologist first, just to be safe. Okay, bringing us to our final section, Section 5, Protecting Postmenopausal Health, Long-Term Maintenance. So, once you're officially postmenopausal, those permanently lower estrogen levels do have some long-term effects you need to watch out for. Vaginal tissues can become thin and dry, but that's easily managed proactively with moisturizers or localized low-dose estrogen. Also, without estrogen acting as a shield, bone loss speeds up, which means a higher risk for fractures. So getting enough calcium, vitamin D, and doing weight-bearing exercises, that becomes totally non-negotiable. And finally, your risk for heart disease slowly creeps up over time. So heart-healthy eating and keeping a close eye on your blood pressure and cholesterol are absolutely critical. You really want to tackle these risks head-on with your medical team. Now, while almost everything we've talked about is just a normal part of the transition, I do need to highlight a few urgent red flags. If you experience literally any vaginal bleeding after you've hit that 12-month mark without periods, you have to see a doctor, period. Same goes if you develop new chest pain, a sudden weakness in your face or arms, severe new headaches, or unexplained weight loss. All of those require immediate medical review. And look, we don't bring this up to cause a panic. We just want to arm you with the knowledge so you know exactly when a symptom stops being just a menopause thing and starts being a call the doctor right away thing. Which brings us to our final thought for today. The single biggest takeaway from Dr. Praveen Ramachandra's education guide is this: you absolutely do not need to white-knuckle your way through this alone. So are you ready to stop suffering in silence? Whether it starts with tracking triggers in a diary or sitting down to discuss hormone therapy, there is a clear path forward. I highly, highly encourage you to talk to your endocrinologist to build a treatment plan that is tailored specifically for you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us for this explainer, and hey, here's to taking back control of your health.